What's up guys? I wasn't actually planning on making another Diablo 4 video. I feel like I said pretty much everything I needed to already, but I do want to provide a quick update on how Season 1 is tracking. Now, a lot of people took issue with my insinuation that Season 1 would kill the game, citing statistics released by Blizzard like these ones, which show more than 7 million characters created during Season 1, which is by any game standards, amazing numbers. What these stats don't show you is how many of those players made seasonal characters, tested the new content, and then logged out forever. Since we don't have access to Blizzard's statistics, there's no real way to officially know the numbers, but we can look at some other indicators. For example, we could look at sites that claim to track numbers, but they are all wildly different and pretty much pulling numbers out of their ass. So instead, let's take a look at Twitch viewers. Obviously, the number of Twitch viewers doesn't directly relate to how many people are playing a game, but it does say something about a game's overall popularity. For example, if nobody gives a shit about the game, nobody's going to be streaming it or watching it on Twitch. Now, both Twitch and Sully Gnome show downwards trends in the number of channels streaming and the number of viewers watching Diablo 4 in the last 7 days. And if we zoom these graphs out, we can see that there's been a dramatic decrease in the number of viewers and streamers playing and watching Diablo 4. But all games experience this kind of drop off after a big launch, so let's take a look at just Season 1. This spike here is the 20th of July, the first day of Season 1, which shows 278,672 peak viewers. On day 13 of Season 1, which is today, we have a peak of 7,803 viewers. That's a decrease in Diablo 4 viewers of 97.2% in the first 2 weeks of a 3-month-long season, and a 96.5% overall decrease since the launch of the game. Now, I'm not saying that the drop in the number of players in the first week of Season 1 directly translates to 97.2% like it has on Twitch, but I think it does paint a pretty bleak picture of how Season 1 is performing. For instance, the peak viewership on Twitch was 941,488 people, which is absolutely incredible, and is approximately 10% of Blizzard's overall game sales of 9.5 million at the time, which means that at this point in time, the Twitch statistics represented approximately 10% of the overall player base of Diablo 4. Assuming that this is still the case, this would mean that the Twitch peak of 278,672 on day 1 of Season 1 was analogous to approximately 2.7 million active players, which is still a huge number, but it's a far cry from the 7.2 million characters created Blizzard is using to artificially inflate the game's popularity. But if we look at the current peak number of Twitch viewers of 23,000, this indicates an overall player base of just 230,000, which is a 92% decrease since the beginning of Season 1. Now, obviously this is speculative. We can't know if Twitch viewers continued to represent 10% of the overall player base consistently, but since we know that it did represent that much originally and 23,000 concurrent players is in line with what other similar games are doing, like Path of Exile and Lost Ark, for example, it seems like a fairly reasonable assumption that I'm sure the comments will tear me to pieces for. I personally think that the number of concurrent players is way higher than 23,000, but this percentage decrease, which doesn't actually rely on numbers of players, it's just a percentage, is very concerning for the longevity of the game. Now, if we go over and take a look at the Diablo 4 subreddit, we can also see that the overwhelming majority of the posts express a negative sentiment towards the game. Now, I particularly like this one: never met a horse that gets tired after sprinting 30 yards, source, watched videos of horses, and this one that requests the devs to play through a high tier nightmare dungeon with a build not copied from Maxroll in order to show us how the game is balanced and what their vision truly is. Like that's ever going to happen. Blizzard themselves are also advertising 4 new positions on the Diablo team, including a lead season designer. Now, we don't know if this is a completely new position or the role has been vacated, but you could interpret this one of 2 ways. Either the launch of Diablo 4 and the subsequent Season 1 has done so incredibly well that Blizzard is hiring an additional lead season designer in order to bump up their standards and really invest in delivering some incredible seasonal content. Or the backlash from Season 1 has been so absolute that they are starting from scratch with a brand new lead season designer. Since the advertisement doesn't state co-lead season designer, the player base has clearly dramatically declined, and the only thing Blizzard cares about is sucking in players' credit cards for the next battle pass, I'm leaning towards the latter. On top of these declines, there's also been some pretty serious game-breaking bugs discovered before and after the beginning of the season. For instance, there's an infinite gold glitch in the Eternal Realm right now that's been in the game for nobody knows how long. But hey, Eternal Realm is kind of whatever at this point anyway, right? It's not like you could trade gold or even items to your seasonal character anyway, so who cares? Yeah, about that. It turns out that there's also a bug that allows you to not only trade items and gold from your Eternal characters to your seasonal characters, but the guy who found it thinks you can even use it to power level those seasonal characters using high tier nightmare dungeons with your Eternal character. They also speculated that it would be possible to move seasonal mechanics like the Malignant Hearts into the Eternal Realm. Now, the reason I'm even bringing these problems up is because I care about this game. It's the reason I made the first video, it's the reason I'm making this second one. And historically, Blizzard won't do anything unless their hand is forced. This is how they've always been. This is how they've been with World of Warcraft and Overwatch, and it's how they're going to be with Diablo. And that's why people are coming forward and reporting on these bugs in the public space, because this infinite gold bug has been in the game for weeks or even months, or possibly even since the game launched, and Blizzard have done nothing despite people reporting it, and they're going to continue to treat us like this and deliver dog shit if we don't hold them accountable. So yeah, Season 1 sucks, it sucks that it sucks, and I think there's ample evidence here showing that most people agree that it sucks. The question is, can Blizzard lift Diablo 4 up from the ashes the same way they did with Diablo 3, which also had a famously terrible launch? I'll be waiting, and I really genuinely hope they do, but in the meantime, I'll be playing other games, and I've got a video listing the best Diablo 4 alternatives to play in 2023 coming out tomorrow for those of you who haven't quite had your ARPG itch scratched. Again, thank you guys so much for the incredible support on my last video, and an absolutely massive shout out to the people on screen who subscribe to me on Twitch and help to support what I do. If you want to join us on Twitch, you can find links to that in the description, as well as links to my other channel where I post archaeology and history content on both YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find that under Liminality TV, but there'll be links to that in the description. So thank you all once again, just absolutely incredible response, and thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so, and yeah, just thank you.